What is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your daily astrology reading for Thursday, November 14th of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Trusting you guys are having a wonderful day. I'm going to be on a plane out to Washington State today. So that's why I'm making all these in advance, because I'm going to be out like the second half of this week. And I'm like, Big Boss is coming into town. I'm going to be working with him 3 days in a row. So I'm like, I can't go 2 weeks without doing anything. So making all of these in advance. So let's go ahead and hop into today's transits, see what we got going on. Well, we do have that moon that's going to be in Taurus today, which is nice. You know, the moon is exalted here, so it's definitely feeling good. But of course, we are building up to the full moon in Taurus that's going to be happening here in, just a little bit here. Of course, that sun over at 22 degrees of Scorpio. And like I said, a lot of the energies are, a lot of them, haven't really changed. We are going to see Mars and Venus come into their quincunx, which is going to be interesting. So, and that's interesting too. Whenever you see Mars and Venus getting ready to get close to opposing each other, you know that one that was about to retrograde, right? So they're going to be quincunxing today at 3 degrees. And like I said, Mars and Leo does feel a little bit good here. It has a little bit of the firepower. It isn't a fire sign, but it's moving very, very slow. Venus and Capricorn, however, Venus, it does okay here. It's probably not the best place for it. This is where we kind of have to, grow up in some areas. Venus is about how we receive things. It's also about, of course, like relationships too. And with it being in Capricorn, this can definitely be, people can be more so focused on the business side or the contract side of relationships and stuff too. With the quincunx to Mars, though, it does bring up a bit of fiery energy, and it makes it a little bit awkward here. So people can be dealing with weird contracts within relationships too. Maybe trying to figure out, different, like maybe people trying to figure out their finances during this time, especially with the moon here in Taurus. It is going to trine Venus at the very least, which is nice, but it does square Mars as well in Leo. So, like I said, Mars is trying to get the engine going, and, like I said, it's in a place where it has firepower with the sun, ruling Leo. I mean, well, in Leo, of course, was ruled by the sun, but it's still not getting quite the juice that it needs, quite the juice that it wants to have. So that can lead to some frustration here, right? Especially with that, looks like that moon that's going to be squaring it. And while the moon does feel good here, it's still like, it does, like I said, gives this energy where it's just like, you're trying to like start the engine, you're trying to get it going, and it's just not giving you quite the juice. You're just coming up short. You're just getting a, field goal blocked, which is what just happened here to the Denver Broncos against the Chiefs. Kind of feel bad for them. But that's kind of what it feels like. It kind of feels like you drove the ball all the way down the field, and then you got your kick blocked, and then you lose the game by a couple of points, and that's just kind of the energy of the moment right now, of where things are. Especially considering the fact that Mars and Venus are the personal planets, and they are making an aspect to each other today. So we're going to feel this a lot more on a personal scale, not so much on like a larger scale. I think if we pay too much attention to the larger scale and the outer world, we sometimes forget about, what's going on in our day-to-day reality and what, how things are being affected on that level. If we focus too much on what's going on out there in the outside world and the politics and all that sort of stuff, we forget about what's closer to home. So I think a day like today is going to hit a little bit closer to home because of this Venus quincunxing over to Mars. And we also just think about it from this aspect. If you think of Mars as more of a masculine energy, Venus is more of the feminine energy. And Mars, like I said, it's moving slow. It's got to retrograde back into Cancer. It doesn't quite have the full juice, the firepower. And it's going to be kind of a weird way of putting it, but it's like the orgasm's not really that great here. I'm not going to lie. Mars is not having like the best orgasm here. It's kind of falling flat, right? And that is probably going to piss off Venus, right? It's going to piss off the feminine because the feminine's like, it's in Capricorn and wants the best, wants to be at the top of the mountain, wants to be seen, So it's like, that's the interesting dichotomy and relationship between these two planets is that there's an aspect of ourselves that wants to be seen, that wants to be at the top, that wants to receive that love and that adoration, but it's the orgasm just isn't quite there with Mars at 3 degrees of Leo, making the quincunx moving very slow in Leo. It's just not quite there, right? So we have to ask ourselves, what is truly important? What is truly valuable to us? I think that's really what this whole moon in Taurus is going to be bringing up, especially since it's going to be a full moon that's coming up. It's about releasing those things that aren't really valuable, that maybe we place a lot of emphasis on, and maybe it's not as, big as we think it is. Although I will say, a full moon with Uranus, something weird is going to happen. Something random is going to happen in the Taurus sense of things. So it could be something weird with like money and systems, because Uranus is also electricity and systems and the internet. There may be some, and we've been seeing different things as far as like banks getting hacked and people getting shut out of their bank accounts, and bank accounts like suddenly getting drained to zero because of weird stuff. And now that we get a full moon that's going to be coming up on this with the Venus in Capricorn 2 and with a Pluto at the end of Capricorn 2, we're probably going to see some weird things happen as this moon gets closer and closer to being full. But as we continue throughout the day, we're going to see that moon pretty much go throughout that second decan, and it will enter into the second decan of Taurus. First decan going into the second decan of Taurus. And we're not going to really see it do too much else outside of that. We will see it get to a nice little sextile over to Saturn here in Pisces, which of course is moving slow as well, getting ready to come forward. So, like I said, this is a time where we kind of have to we are kind of biding our time a little bit. We are kind of just, there's an element of going with the flow. There's an element of, not trying to force the issue too much. Just because the world is turning, things are shifting. We have planets that are getting ready to come forward. We have planets that are going to be retrograding somewhat soon. So we're kind of getting to like this sort of handoff moment, like the baton is going to be getting passed, if you will. And we're in like that in-between state where one, teammate's about to hand the baton off to the other teammate. So, I would say take this Thursday to, take it back to the basics too. You can look at all the other planets and everything like that, but, take things back to the basics. Sun in Scorpio. Okay. Scorpios obviously are known for, they can be rather emotional, think things a little bit too deep, can be very psychological, can be a little bit philosophical, especially here in the last decan of Scorpio. It gets a little bit more philosophical. And like I said, this is about, an emotional magnetism, if you will. Moon in Taurus, pay attention to the simpler things. Pay attention to the way you feel when you eat. You know what I mean? I know it's something that we don't really think about too often. Sometimes we're just, especially here in America, we eat really fast and we don't really sit down to appreciate our food. But, this is where you learn to appreciate the simple things. Appreciate the food. Appreciate your company. Appreciate, your couch. Appreciate your favorite TV shows. Appreciate just the simple times. Appreciate going outside and just appreciating nature. You know what I'm saying, too? So that's really what it comes down to. This is definitely a complicated time. This is definitely a time where it feels like we're moving forward and backwards at the same time. So when you get to these complicated moments, all you can do is take it moment by moment. And the way that you get through that is by appreciating the day-to-day, appreciating the simple times, appreciating those relationships that continue to show up in your lives and that you continue to show up for is really what's going to get you to the next level. Card of the day we have is the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords. So, we may feel like we need to escape from a situation today or kind of get away. This might actually be a good day to kind of just, I would say especially escaping from like the internet, escaping from, politics today, escaping from external things that don't affect you on the day-to-day reality, I think this is a good day to kind of just go within ourselves and to, you know, be more present in the moment, if you will. I'm gonna draw another card to kind of just, follow that up. So yeah, I have the Three of Swords. Yeah, I mean, it does look like we're kind of running away from some type of heartbreak or some type of disappointment, if you will. But like I said, this is about, being more invested in our day-to-day reality and what's going on instead of worrying about external circumstances and different things that are like way outside that probably do affect us but maybe don't have much of an immediate effect on us. This is about, yeah, we can be disappointed about different things, just like, say, if my favorite football team loses today, that's going to be a disappointment, but I can't let that affect my whole week. I can be upset about it tonight and stuff like that, but I can't let it get so bad to where it makes it to where I don't get things done during the week that I need to get done. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just kind of the way that we have to look at it. And with the moon being a Taurus, it's going to be asking us, what truly is worth, you know, maybe getting upset over, what's truly worth, maybe even getting excited over. Those are the things we're going to be asking ourselves here, especially as we get closer to that full moon. But that's going to do it for your reading today. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey today. If you did find this at all helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. But y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful Thursday, and I'll see you all on the next video. Peace.